So I've got these Cal Custom Bumperettes, or maybe they were sold by J.C. Whitney or Warshawski, which I think is the same place. And they've got a good amount of surface rust, but closer inspection reveals that they're really well chromed. And the surface rust is going to come off with a bit of coarse steel wool. I'm not too worried about wrecking the chrome because it's pretty worn out. These are 45 or something year old bumpers. There's the worst gouge right there on both bumpers. I only got the rears, and the guy was in a bad mood that was selling these to me because minutes earlier somebody had apparently ripped off some 1961 Corvair scripts from his box. Says there was a bunch of guys piling over his stuff before he was ready to sell, and he thinks that the guy's ripped off his script. Maybe the stuff will turn up later. I've done that where I think something is missing but it's not. But he wasn't too happy, so I was walking around with these for a half an hour at his booth looking over all the NOS stuff he had. He had a little bit of used stuff, mostly it was NOS. I bought a crate of Atlas foil filters and some Wix filters, brand new in the box with the case, the original Atlas case. And these are cleaning up reasonably well. They will need to be re-chromed. And he says the front got crunched in an accident. I don't know if he parted out the car or it was a friend's car. Like I said, he wasn't in the best mood to be talking stuff. He was trying to get organized. He had a lot of NOS stuff. There weren't a lot of vendors. So he was pretty busy. And there's always a million questions to ask. Look at that. Rusted. A little bit of coarse steel wool, and 75% of the junk comes right off. I paid quite a few bucks for this garbage, but when's the last time you saw these early Bumperettes? Either sold by Cal Custom or made by Cal Custom and sold by Warshawski or J.C. Whitney, which was in Chicago. I remember reading their catalogs when I was a kid. Pretty well made. Somebody had to manufacture some dies to stamp these out. You'd think they would have made a few hundred or thousand to warrant the cost of the dies. Who knows where they ended up, huh? And the demand dropped. I bet you they're made the same way as the late model bumpers I discussed at the Stock Is a little impromptu tech seminar. I see a line right there. Very distinct line. Double stamped. Stamp them once, remove them from the first set of dies and put the second set of dies together and stamp them again to get the rest of the contour of the bumper. Pretty good shape. They don't have the same contour or the same depth as a stock early bumper. They're not as deep and they're rounder. They leave a gap right there in the middle. This isn't, of course, where they belong, but they definitely have a different contour than the stock bumper. They're rounder here. They don't hug the body as tight as a stock bumper, so you couldn't take a stock bumper. These are not the same as a stock bumper. They have a less shallow profile. Pointier there. They're substantially different. Totally brand new design. And in the front, it's the same bumper in the front. Maybe the front is rounder. I don't know. Let's go look. And the front also had a bracket around the license plate. Kind of sort of like that, but more of a rectangular horseshoe. What do we got here? Nope. Big gap. Yep. Totally different. Totally different. Kind of sort of similar on the end, but look at that. To get the end the same, you're never going to see these made up again. And I got the rears. It's funny because my front bumper is mangled. I have a better front bumper. The better front bumper I was going to put on before I left for the show, but it's got a dent right there. But didn't have the time, It's a fair front bumper. Got that dent business. That's from the bumper guard, I think. Where do the bumper guards go in the front? I've got some decent bumper guards. Yeah, maybe it's from the bumper guard. Somebody had some B's for sale. A, B. I forget which is left, which is right. I have what here? Got a bunch of some and none of the other. B. You can't see that letter when it's on the vehicle. It's hidden. Right. B is right. So I had a bunch of rights. The guy wanted a lot of money. This one's bent. It's got a rust bubble there. Right. This is left. This is an A. Got the letter A stamped. This is left. My left one's decent. So I did need some B's, and this guy had some B's for sale, but I won't pay $30 each for driver quality. These are so-so. Kind of matches the bumpers. Junk. It's hard to see on the camera, everything's so shiny. Yeah, those are decent quality. I'll show you the difference in the extrusion from the stock bumper to the Cal Custom bumper. Cut the bracket on that one. Rusted. Sometimes you go to these shows and you see stuff that you think you need, but then you forget what you have at home. You're thinking, do I want to buy more junk? And Mrs. CW comes along and says, are you sure you need that? And I say, no, but what the heck, I'm here, and there it is. Look at that. There's a difference in the bumper profile, or the extrusion. Quite a difference, huh? Yeah, it's half the thickness. No more bulky bumpers, we've got thin blade bumpers, which is what ended up happening on the late models, which I have a bunch of upstairs. They're right there. Oh, those cleaned up pretty nice. They're interchangeable, left, right, front, and back. In other words, one bumper fits all four corners. Pretty cool, huh? Yep. Yep, one bumper fits all. You make one, you got all four corners. And no one's ever going to make these nicely MIG-welded brackets. I guess they went to a bumper shop and said, can you make us something that looks a bit more sporty? And I said, sure, no problemo. A bit of etching there. I'll get them re-chromed one day. One day! I got a lot on my plate. Nice. More junk.